had enough.
Well, you drove out there into the middle of nowhere and had some sort of loud verbal display challenging ET in general out in the middle of nowhere?
That's what I was doing. I actually had a pistol in my hand at the time. I was really ticked off. When I was having this fit, I was waving the gun in the air, okay, and I had this fit. And at this moment, I said, okay.
He was a Louisiana man named Montaldo. Folks around called him Six Gun Joe. Works with ICAR, don't you know? Investigating UFOs. Out for a drive with a gal one night, they stopped to check out the reporting site. When an alien lit right there on the ground, he commenced to throwing his weight around. Now, old Six Gun didn't take too kindly to that kind of thing, especially without Vaseline or anything like that, you know. Seriously. Well, Six Gun looked that critter right in the eye and said, "Any last wish before you die?" He also reached for his gun, quick as a twitch, and said, "Fill your claw, you son of a bitch." Now, a legend spread across the land about this pistol-waving man. But if you're from space or from Earth below, you don't give no lip to Six Gun Joe.
Yeah.
Well, I was stuck in 10 forward with the Vulcan delegation, the most boring celebration in the United Federation. The Klingons and the Romulans were trying to be polite. Not even William Riker's getting lucky here tonight. That's when the idea struck me. I let Ghana know the score. Then I found the nearest holodeck and opened up the door. Computer, give me disco. Put some glitter on the screen. I want the funkiest roller program that this ship has ever seen. Synthesize the rhythm, make the polyester shine. Kill the lights and set the stardate to 1979. The sensors overloaded, my terminal exploded. The disco holoprogram was suddenly uploaded. It reached communication like a bug assimilation. That funky, nasty bass line was played at every station. Inertial dampeners failing, the diplomats were wailing. The loudest sound the quadrants ever heard was auto-scaling. The doctor started tapping, the captain started rapping. The buttons of their uniforms were literally snapping. No way to isolate it, we had to celebrate it. I invited everyone on board and no one hesitated. The prime directive is to dance, and forward never stood a chance. The holodeck just took control, now let the groove into your soul. Resistance is futile, you gotta let go. Engage the dance floor and make it so. The prime directive is to dance out, third all power to the trance. Computer, blast that bass again. Let's take this party towards it. Now Scotty's in the DJ booth. He's remixing the sound. Q's rolling up a fat one. Don't believe me? Ask around. Uhura's crack the frequency. Now the folks on all the comms. She's dropping subspace baseline beats like they were photon bombs. Haters doing the robot. Kirk just ripped off the shirt. Murphy's doing the hustle. Joey ate all the hurt. The doctor's overriding all his ethical subroutines. Saw him popping hollow pills and snorting lines with the breed. Janeway spiked the coffee, some nebula tonight, and I heard her threaten to kill whoever don't get down tonight. It's red alert on every deck. Got Tupac pinching every neck. Ferengi women are turning tricks. Just plug into the mix. They're scanning us from deep in space. They wanna come to rock this place. Forget the rules and regulations. United Bunker Federation. The prime directive is to dance and forward. Never stood a chance. The holodeck just took control. Now let the groove into your soul. Resistance is futile. You gotta let go. Engage the dance floor and make it so. The prime directive is to dance. I've heard all power to the trance. Computer blast that bass again. Let's take this party to warp 10. Oh, calling the Enterprise. Beam me up. Calling Voyager. Beam me up. Deep Space Nine. Are you feeling fine? This is Deep Space Nine. We're feeling fine.
Captain the Funk is reading off the scale. Dopamine levels at 100%. Inhibitions at 0. It is highly illogical. It is fascinating.
The prime directive is to dance and forward. Never stood a chance. The holodeck just took control. Now let the groove into your soul. Resistance is futile. You gotta let go. Engage the dance floor and make it so. The prime directive is to dance. I've heard all power to the trance. Computer blast that bass again. Let's take this party to warp 10. The prime directive is to dance. Set phases to funk. O'Brien energized.
Somebody got the munchies.
Hailing frequencies open, Captain. Damn it, Jim. I'm a doctor, not the DJ.
That's right, Jim.
Live long and get down.
Dun. Hey, man. That looks like what's his face, man? What's going on here?
That was oh, I don't remember the actor's name, but he played Crow in Vegas, and then he was.
I thought he was the guy from S.H.I.E.L.D., man.
No, it's Cisco, Benjamin Cisco.
Oh, I don't think it was Cisco, man. I think it was a guy from S.H.I.E.L.D. I think they effed up. Oh, welcome everyone to UFO Undercover. Hope y'all having a good day. No, he looked more like the guy from S.H.I.E.L.D.
Oh,
You know, the guy. You know, the guy that got his eye ripped out by the cat, the Fuku, whatever the thing was called. Yeah, he looked like him, man. With a fro. That's what he looked like. I noticed though, so they aged the characters in this thing, by the way. So if you're paying attention, you'll see Kurt. Well, that's what it's supposed to be, but I'm saying he looks more like the other guy. I had to that picture where the guy's got the big fro on his head, chasing people through the crime streets.
It's Cisco, but I guess he's looking like Shaft.
Yeah, I can't remember that guy's name. Anyway, welcome everybody. I hope y'all been really getting out there. I know if you're in the Middle East right now, you're kind of like, what the fuck? Oh, I mean, beep, what the blank? I'm sorry, wrong show. But really,
goddamn wrong button.
There's a lot of stuff. Yeah, see, they changed everything back to original. I don't know what's going on with these people, but anyway, a lot of weirdness going on in the world right now. So Trump ended 8 wars and goes and starts one, but technically he's not at war. He
hasn't declared war. No, it is.
He hasn't declared war. See, that's where Congress. Yeah, that's where Congress keeps messing up. We're going to talk about this on Friday, but
best description of it, it's a preemptive strike, if anything at all.
Yeah. Well, he's making sure he's doing away with Iran's military is what he's doing. He doesn't want them to be a threat to us, to Israel, to Saudi. And as far as we know, those Abraham Accords, this may have been in the Abraham Accords to make sure this happened. Because, I mean, they're bombing everybody over there. In the Middle East don't have to worry about this anymore.
Well, and some of those countries are slinging back, like Kuwait and Greece is actually throwing some equipment into the fray.
Yeah, Saudi said they're going to get involved too. But Saudi tries to stay neutral all the time because Saudi's part of BRICS, which we'll talk about on Friday, people. Wrong show. Unless the Men in Blacks is part of BRICS, and then then we might have to have a talk. No, I mean, Jessica, there's finances involved in ufology and there's religion involved, but it's not what makes the field. It's not what makes the research. I mean, you can always have somebody somewhere trying to capitalize on something. And I mean, really, truly, it's kind of what it is here. When you meet the majority of people, so-called ufologists, you'll notice that most of them are just trying to capitalize. And unfortunately, in the field, you're only as important as your last discovery or your last thing. So, what happens to the ones who are doing this for money is they start fudging a little bit, and then it gets worse and worse and worse. Renee, no, I actually lying in ufology can be a dangerous thing. I can tell you this: a long, 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 long time ago, we did an experiment. A group of fairly decent sized name ufologists, much bigger than mine. And I was the one who brought it up. We were at a meeting, and I said, "Well, why don't we just try a fib and see what happens?" So it went unchecked. I don't know, 6, 7, 8 years before we actually told everybody what it was. I mean, every major researcher in the field was swearing by it. It really bothered me a lot. I knew it was going on in the field. I just didn't understand to what extent until they tried that. And then I was kind of like, wow. What do you mean? What do you mean my last famous thing? I have no last famous things. I just talk about stuff and sometimes stuff happens. Oh no, the blood type study that it's ICARS. Yeah. It belongs to the National Community for Alien Research. I was the lead investigator and the lead not scientist, the lead project manager. I'm the one who talked to the scientists and got the hematologists together. I'm the one who got all the witnesses together. Yeah. It was a big case study. It's an ongoing case study. It's still on the website even today. It's an ongoing case study because it's not going to end. I'm actually thinking about adding a couple of blood types to it. Yeah, like the so-called vampire blood type and the royal blood type. I'd like to add those in and see how many people. Yeah, because the blood types are important because Rh negative stands out in everything, not just in ufology. It stands out in everyday life. Those people are gifted. They have gifts, whether they use them or not.
But the aliens have said that they're close to the end of the experiment. So does that mean whatever's going on with the Rh blood is also going to end?
Oh, I don't know, but let's take that in context. So for them, in could be several 100,000 years. They're not exactly. Yeah. They don't think of time the way we think of time.
They don't, and we don't even know what the end goal is.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
the end goal is to make us a spacefaring race that can help and be part of the galactic consciousness as they explore and conquer other universes, other galaxies. Sorry.
They do that person who asked what the end goal was. He took her eyeballs out and turned around and said, "Have your Jesus fix this."
No, that's because she said Jesus was more important than them and could fix them. And that's when she told her, he said, "You will get your Jesus to fix this."
Well, I mean, that shows you right there. He's fictionalized.
He just well, no, they just don't believe in our God. That's all. And he was making a point.
Or they know what, they at least they know the truth about him, that he may have been just a regular man. He may not have been able to do all those things.
Well,
but however, there were some strange coincidences that happened throughout his, ministry, if you will.
All this story started because a friend of mine, Guy Malone, was working with a group with Joe Jordan and them, and it was they were stopping alien abductions because I thought it was demonic possession by prayer. That's how I met my friend Tree Sheridan. I was somewhere, I forgot, I was lecturing somewhere, and she came up to me and was telling me about this, and I said, "Really?" I said, "I've heard about it before. I've never seen it actually work." So I was talking to her about it, and so I started asking her questions. Research. I started asking questions, and she started getting aggravated and mad. And I said, "Well," judging from your reaction to my questions, it's still there." I said, maybe they toned it down so you don't remember. Maybe you're blocking it, but it's still there. She said, oh, no, I prayed. I said, and that's when I told her about this other girl. And she was just stunned. And I was like, well, no. I said, I'll introduce you to people who are more religious than you are. And it didn't stop it. And she said, well, I don't understand why. I said, because God or no God, I don't think he gets into the everyday affairs of man and mice. And if he does, maybe, or she does, or it does, maybe it thinks this is something that needs to be done. I mean, even the Almighty God don't want to see this race as a spacefaring race. Let's be honest about it. Look at us. We're blowing shit up all over the place. We are literally killing people at this moment on this planet for the sake of killing people. And you really think aliens want to have anything to do with this? It floors me. I don't even want to have anything to do with this, and I live here. It's all Jeffrey's fault anyway. He started all this shit.
More than likely, I mean,
he was there that night.
He must be working for the Iranians.
We was at the Babel thing that night. I said, Jeffrey, just leave it alone. Don't pull the thread, Jeffrey. Oh no, I said, Jeffrey, no, Jeff. And then the whole world went through. And here we are now. Y'all didn't know Jeffrey's way old. Yeah, I don't 55,000, something like that. He old, man. I mean, sometimes he's just a pile of dust. You have to throw some water on it.
He claims to like Nosferatu. But he actually is the first Nosferatu, and he's like 77,000 years old or whatever.
We're talking about Jeffrey Pritchett, host of Church of Ages. Yes. That's who we're talking about. We have to talk about Jeffrey. We love Jeffrey. It's Jeffrey's been a host on this network a long time. He's a good host. It's a lot of fun to listen to. You mean so? When you look at us, I mean, you're coming. So the Greys or tons of humans have been here a long time. Whatever the argument is people want to make doesn't really matter to me. 4,000, 40,000, 400,000, 4 million. It's all the same damn thing to me. They've just been here a really long time, screwing around with our DNA and whatever. And sometimes it's not even necessarily screwing around with our DNA, but screwing around with the way we think.
Yeah, pushing us our brain too.
Yeah. They take the little probe and stick, and they tell you, go that way. And he goes, yeah, I'm going that way, man. So I mean, it's one of those things that goes on. Well, I think, okay, I'm gonna get into this deep as I can, but so we're not gonna go over all how we think they came to be and all that, reptilians, Nemos, Sumerians, a whole 9 yards, whatever that was back then, that all kind of merged together to create the final species of us. I mean, since then, the reptilians, humans, and Greys have been playing well. Betty Crocker, for lack of a better way of saying it. I mean, they seem to be cooking something, whether it's our DNA, whether it's our willpower, whether it's our brain, whatever it is, they're pushing us in certain ways, because when they abduct people, there are things they could do to actually, put it this way, no, excuse me, people, who the hell is that? I'm gonna have to go out and tell somebody to go F themselves, man. Studios are pretty quiet. And what the hell I was saying before that idiot did that?
It was in the abduction process.
These aliens have gotten to the point where they've been doing this a long time. So it's all kind of bam, 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 bam. Okay, John Blow over here gets dun, dun, dun. Dolly over here gets bam, bam, bam. Maurice over here gets bam, bam, bam. Okay, they all go together, bam, bam, bam. Oh, maybe you want to mix this DNA with that DNA and have some babies. But they don't do petri dish babies. So the egg and the sperm has to be combined in the natural way. Don't ask me why. I have not a clue. And I have had contactees ask. It is not something they talk about. But it's stopping right there and flashing all the way back. So whatever happened to create this original race that's us, the original race of us, happened a really long time ago. And then for some reason, somebody, okay, whether it was Gaia or maybe there's a guy from Mars, maybe there's a guy from Earth, maybe it was some wannabe gods, but somebody said, okay, this race, even with the reptilian DNA, isn't what we need. And then out of the blue, like magic pixie dust, Rh negative came on the scene. And there's no scientist will argue this because they know Rh negative is a fairly new thing for humans within the last 40 to 60,000 years. Well, 20 to 60,000 years, depending on who you talk to. A lot of scientists says it's newer than that. It's around 20,000. But regardless, they can't even tell you how it became. I mean, for a long time, we lived as a species 2 million years or more with just Rh positive blood, probably A, B, and O. It might not even been that. It might have just been A and B. Because
Well,
so
the various different blood types may be the fact that we interbred with not just everybody, but Homo erectus, Homo heidelbergensis. The Denisovans were around at that time on the Russian slopes or Siberian Kush area. But there's evidence that we interbred with like 7 or 8 other hominid species. So that's probably where all the different blood types come from.
And it might have been, or it might have been something just simpler. Since originally the human aliens created us, they could have been A. The reptilians intervened, which would have been B. And when the Greys came in, because remember, the humans and the Greys, even though they're humans and humans and reptilians, basically they're built kind of same. They look kind of same. I mean, he's got reptilian face, he got human face, but same amount of fingers, same amount of toes, 2 eyeballs, a nose, a mouth.
There's symmetry: 2 legs, 2 arms, but the fingers and toes.
And they even
less.
And in a lot of ways, they even think alike. So they're just. I mean, they want to act like they're all way different, but the Greys are different. They're totally different. They're not. They don't look like them. They got some weird ass, linky ass arms with no bones and just cartilage. I mean, they're just a weird and big head. Like
they
I don't think people realize how big a gray head actually is until they see one. But they think like, oh, it's like no people. It's bigger than that one behind me back there. I'm telling you.
Yeah, it's very similar to the Telosian heads in the Star Trek, the cage.
How they keep it on that skinny ass neck is beyond me.
Telekinesis. They levitate their heads because their spindly little necks can't carry it.
It's crazy, people. But anyway.
Well, if you follow the Indiana Jones franchise, their brains are made out of crystals.
Yeah, no. That was a very last movie they made. It's no, Jack. The problem with this is so you have these races, and it's probably where the blood types actually came from because they're responsible for all life on the planet. Whatever the original was, whatever the original humans created, anything after that was just an offshoot of that. See, I always thought that we probably had some little things like pop up in South America, down in Africa, maybe in Europe somewhere. But science just doesn't want to go with that for some reason. They're just like, no, because what they give is different things. Is like what Jay was just saying a few minutes ago. They're all kind of different, but they're all kind of same. They're basically human, but like Neanderthal was a little squattier, had a little thicker, had a different sized brain, had actually a different sense.
Most of the other earlier hominids were built about 90% different from us. Shorter bones, shorter limbs. Their forearms are actually longer, like primates, like chimpanzees.
Yeah, well,
but the upper part's actually shorter, and then but their muscles are also thicker and stronger than ours, which indicates that they come from a planet of strong gravity, Earth, whereas our forms we're not bred for this planet. It's our muscles are too weak, actually. I wouldn't be surprised if a human child were born on Mars. Would not be surprised one bit that it was capable of walking almost immediately.
Well, yeah, but what's weird about that
almost every other mammal on this planet that we are supposed to have come from, their babies are almost, not all of them, but most of them are almost mobile within minutes, and most of them have to be, or they become food.
Yep. Well, Jack, a lot of the birds aren't like that, but a lot of the mammals aren't.
A lot of the
Even,
mammals
even
are.
dolphins, they're swimming as soon as they're born.
If you can't swim when you're right out of the womb as a dolphin, you will drown.
Yeah,
They are air
well,
breathers. They don't breathe water like gillfishes.
so it's just the way it's set up. Well, no, because humans have more time to grow and to mature, and because of the way our families are set up, and we've designed weapons so we don't need claws and fangs. Yes, but for me, the hardest part for all of this is how did anybody on the African plain, even with a spear, survive the rhinos, the tigers, the lions,
You
the
know, the
cheetahs?
simple fact is we had to outnumber them and hunt them only in numbers of
But the
ones and
problem
twos.
is the question is how did you get to outnumber them? Since you had to start there
Prolific
with them.
breeding.
Now, but you had to start there with them because it's not just people always think, oh, it's just lions, but it's not. Every type of monkey, chimp, gorilla, all of that would have been killing you. Everything that lives in that part of Africa would have been killing you, and humans would have been no competition. They're like, oh, they would tell us they could look over here. So you can look over the grass as a lion rips your freaking leg off and beats you in the head with it. I mean, it's a hard belief. So if you go by what the Sumerians say, they started there where the aliens made them, and they grew as a population in a protected area in not South America, in the Middle East. So
Yeah,
then that
in the
allowed them
Fertile
to,
Crescent.
yeah. So once they reached that population, they could go wherever they wanted after that because they outnumbered the animals and they had better weapons. But as time, they had started coming up with arrows and really good spears. But before that, out there with a club against lion, you're screwed. You're dead. Them lionesses will tear you to shreds. I don't give a shit if there's 50 of you. They just gonna swipe, and come back and eat everybody. And it's not just that. All
Minuses
that,
hunt in packs and are quite vicious pack animals when they attack.
but it's even more than that because all of that would have attracted hyenas and wild dogs. I mean, there's no way. I'm sorry, but the other
Well, I
way
mean
is the way.
that's really actually the chain of command. If you follow Darwinian theory, is the activity of the lions triggers the hyenas. When the hyenas activity goes off, it triggers probably some sort of vulture. And then it just goes on down the line because they know that those lions are going to eat something and they're not going to eat it all, and the hyenas are going to come and pick off what's left, and then the vultures are going to
But
scavenge what's
anyway,
off the bones.
getting back to where we were, it's it shows us how we got to here. We didn't evolve there. We evolved the way the Sumerians and the Dogon and the Egyptian talk about on the plains. That's where we grew up. That's where we were protected. There's not really much of hostile things other than some scorpions, maybe a wild elephant from time to time. But other than that, animal wise, it wasn't like living in a jungle or a wood. So
No, and you also have to remember though, where it is now a desert. Way back when it
but
was,
even then,
called Fertile Crescent, so there was plenty food and it was lush greenlands and what have you, trees and bushes and fruits and whatnots.
the Ice Age killed it, Jack. Yeah, the glaciers just
scraped it off the planet like it was a zit.
Just scraped it away and left it. Yeah. So anyway, regardless, that's where the aliens put us at. That's where they put us at. That's where, and you know what? All civilizations do think the Middle East is the cradle of civilization. It's not even an argument amongst religions. They agree that that's where we all came from. Not from Africa, not from South America, not from America, not from Europe, but from the Middle East. And that's one thing that's a consensus, which is really weird. So yeah, and if the alien stories are true, then that's where we did come from.
Well, I think the Strong's theory of out of Australia theory also is sort of relevant, but I don't go with the one Garden of Eden theory. Strictly
but that's
because
really what we're talking about. We're just talking about extraterrestrials bringing us and putting us on this planet.
No, I agree. There are a couple other races that started some experiments elsewhere on the planet. Maybe at even earlier times. Like, for instance, there's a story of, I forget the name of them, but very small Asian-looking aliens that crashed in the mountains of China, and that their ship was so bad damaged they could not repair it to go home. So they knew they were all going to die on this planet. but allegedly they interbred with some of the locals, and some of the local Chinese people there don't get taller than like 4 foot tall. They have much larger eyes than most other humans do, and they're a little strange looking, but that's one of the first stories of alien human interbreeding, and it's like from the 14,000 time frame when they crashed.
That would have been one of them things where you heard, oh, civilization disappeared because the Greys came and scrubbed them off our planet because they didn't belong here. So goodbye. Yeah, don't let the swinging door hit you in the ass. I mean, regardless what anybody wants to think, there's been whole civilizations disappear off our planet, whole species for that matter. And the problem is we are who at what, and I guarantee you, without those things happening, this species wouldn't be here today.
This will blow everybody's mind.
On behalf.
This statistic will blow everyone's mind. At this current time, everything that is now living on this planet is in the top 1%, because throughout this planet's history, 99.99% of all other creatures that have evolved on this planet are either dead or extinct or nowhere to be found. In other words, their fossils are so old that we'll never ever be able to detect them. So any civilization that grew up around, say, middle of the summer of 3.5 billion years ago, we'll never know. They're that society, if they grew up and went into outer space and whatnot, their society, if there was anything left on the planet, is erased. We'll never know it.
Well, maybe we find O parts. We might know one day. We might find something.
Yeah, maybe some O part, but I mean, we're not going to get like
I mean, what I mean is we might find like a half of a city or something.
We'll find the information, but I think that those histories are lost to us. Maybe the aliens have it if they've been here long time, as they say. They allegedly have video of the dinosaur era, so.
Yeah, well, they might have come and gone, back and then, and we don't know how long the reptilians actually have really been here. It's
the reptilians could have actually evolved from here, going out in outer space.
No, and I pushed that theory for a long time, but when contactees ask them, they say they're not actually from here. But they have known of this planet for a very, very long time. They came and go. They knew when the asteroid came. They were here when the asteroid came. So they actually talk about that. There's writings about it, and then contactees talk about it in the libraries they're allowed to go. There's actually a depiction of it, like in some type of pictograph thing that moves on the wall that depicts what happened.
Yeah, it's like Bob Lazar talks about it. The sport model, as he describes it, the main control room, it looks like from the outside a metal skin, but there are controls to make it look like windows, like 9 or 10 or 12 arched windows. So it's like two-way. Everybody can see in and out. If you're inside, you can see out. If you're outside, you can see in. They can also make it so it's one way, so you can't see from the outside in. They can make it one way so you can't see from the inside out. But they also they have like display, and they can use like a night vision type of feature, and there's data which is displayed, of course, in their language, which is undecipherable to Bob Lazar, but very similar type of idea, technology. Very, very cool stuff.
Rissa,
stuff we have in our F-22s, as a matter of fact.
Yeah, Rissa, as far as I know, the only other species allowed to visit our planet or to do things on our planet besides the Greys, reptilians, humans, and light beings, or and the cleanup crew, is the ones out at Area 53. And it's a whole separate deal. For some reason, the Greys allow them to stay here. I mean, but they're confined. They're not doing abductions or anything, and they're just at Area 53. And wherever they're going, they're not like
occasional trip to Vegas.
Yeah, an occasional trip to Vegas. They're not like all over the country or all over the world. That's not. No, and nobody knows exactly how that came to be. But there was a piece of information that was leaked about, what was it, the Eisenhower meetings? Because they always said they were going there to meet the Greys about abductions. It sounds like they were going to meet these guys to assure that they could stay there permanently. They'd already been there for a while, but they wanted to assure that they could stay there permanently, and that was what the actual meeting was about. And you know what? I didn't think about it at the time, but when they described the ships, it sounds more like one of theirs than one of the other three races. The three races ships are or I mean, you got a triangle, you got a circle, you got an elongated circle. I mean, and then you got their big monster ships, and then small probes and stuff. But I mean, but basically, you kind of know what the grays and them are flying. These things are more like something you'd see off of a really good sci-fi movie. Something you would, what I like about these ships is they look like something you would see off a really good sci-fi movie that was made here on Earth. They just have that look, like the rounded size, and kind of even looks like at one time I had like some type of thrusters or things. They're not like the other ships. It's
I haven't seen their type of ships, but from
you know what?
Charles Hall's descriptions, that they sound very Star Trekky,
They are.
which is extremely intriguing, to be honest. Yeah,
they're very, but that's what they're like some type of warp drive ship or something, or I don't know, that's what they call it. But compared to what the Greys and the Greys, reptilians, and humans use to travel, they're I wouldn't call it folding space, but it's as close as you can get it without calling it. It's like a combination between folding time and space and a wormhole. But it's instantaneous. It's not like they go traveling forever. They're wherever they're going, they're going. Because the Greys, some of the people over the years, especially science geeky people, or because they pick up a lot of scientists. I don't know if it's intentional or just the way it works out, but they've talked about before, when they were just traveling through space, meeting races before the light beams, before they could travel like that, where it took them sometimes months, years, even months or years to even get to a new solar system sometimes. From the way it sounds like, they sound like they were way on the other side of the galaxy, way out on the edge of a spiral, and like we're tucked inside one. Sounds like they were like thrust out to the side of one. Maybe that's why they like us. All great races come from the dark place instead of from the light place.
Well, I mean, one thing I can say about biological creatures as well as non-biological creatures. If you look in space and how space is organized, how planets and planetary systems, become reality, is because like things generally tend to migrate together and hang out together. And that's true for species and species that are intelligent. It goes for species of certain mindsets, so certain religious groups get together and like to hang out, and non-religious groups like to get together and hang out together. That kind of thing is what I'm talking about. But almost all across the universe, it's ordered that way, that things that are of a similar, whether it's mindset or similar composition, they tend to like to hang out together.
Yeah, it is kind of weird like that. Well, it's like we group up on our planet, but they look at it differently than we do. So here, we got race division, we got all kind of sex, we got all kind of division. So, but the other races don't look at it like that. They're just one species. We try to break ourselves up as we're different, but we're not. We all bleed red.
Mm-hmm.
We all have blood types. We all can get the flu or COVID, any of that crap. So we are the same species. Whether we want to try to act like we're not, except for the RH negative people, they're above all the rest of you losers. But I didn't make them. Johnny, either God or
I think Enterprise particularly makes that point with the Xindi, where there's a humanoid hominid race that has 5 different species. I think there's 2 human species. There's a reptilian, an insect, and
oh no, so no, yeah. So on the Xindis, okay. So what you got is you got the ones that fly. You got the reptilians, you got the insects, but neither one of them are actually human. One is some type of like sloth or something, the ones with the white hairy skin, and the other one is basically a chimp or something.
Yeah,
maybe
one's
not
like, exactly right. But in any rate, there's
cool
2 primates. One's hairy, ones are like more like us. But then you got the insects, you got the reptiles. It's just like our conspiracy theories. But I think the point they're trying to make is that even though they're all completely different, they're all the same race. Even though one's like an insect, obviously, and they're all the same race. So they tend to hang together and like each other and hang out together, but they also are of similar mindset, and that's where the Xindi War came in until Archer spun half of them around. The point they're trying to make, though, I think is with us, we're all the same race, but we have 5 or 6 different colors, and it's pointless to even bring it up because, like you said, we're all the same. We bleed red. If you take the color of our skin off, we're all red underneath. All the structures underneath look exactly the same. It's just out here which is different.
No, Jack, I said we forgot the fish people when we were talking about the Zindi. Yeah, they got
yeah, there's the aquarium. I said the aquarium. There's the aquarians, the avians, the insects. So there's like 6 of them, and two humanoids. It's a diverse community, and although after Archer gets older, they no longer get along as a species. But the point they tried to make is that we're the same thing, but we're way more violent to each other than even they were, and they're a fictionalized, aggressive species.
Oh, my messenger's just blowing up. No, Bruce. No, 4 out of the 5 were bipeds. The other one was just a big fish.
Yeah, one was a big fish.
Okay, it wasn't fish because fish don't breathe air, but they breathe air, but they don't breathe
more like
air.
a cetacean.
It was some type
whale
of
or a
kind of
dolphin.
crazy. Anyway, I know we're going to come on a break pretty soon, but so getting to what we're actually going to talk about tonight, it's who does know the most? Who's got the most control over all this? Who has what's really coming? How much does, say, the military, the government, or the Men in Black actually know? I mean, who knows the most? Well, we know that the government, we'll start with them, seem to have issues. They seem to be blocked from a lot of information, and whatever the other part of the government, the black government or the dark government's holding, they're not telling them about. The Men in Black seem to have less restrictions than everybody else. And as far as researchers go, well, it varies from researcher to researcher to researcher to researcher to what they actually know. What do you mean I'm confrontational? I'm not confrontational. I just speak about what I know in a matter-of-fact way. Well, because I know it. It's 40 years of research. It's not like it's something I just talked about yesterday. Because there's certain things, because of the sheer amount of cases we have, that lets us know that there are things that just happen. No, we got 100, and I think I talked to Justin the other day, it was 147,000. These are investigated cases. Sounds like a lot, but out of 8 billion people, it's nothing. But that's not the amount of cases that's been looked into. It's well over 300,000 it's been looked into. Another day, somebody said, well, that's impossible. I said, well, ICAR is 27 years old. It has 151,000 members, which makes it by far the largest UFO organization to ever exist on the planet. And out of that, well, not as many are directors and as investigators as there are, but it's still about 25,000 of them do actual work for the organization. So, what's 140,000 cases with 25,000 people looking at it? It's 3 years worth, actually. No, in the old days, Jack, it was different. So, in the old days, it would be somebody, I'd get a case. Next thing I knew, I'd have like 50 cases on my desk. I'm like, shit. That's kind of the reason why ICAR was kind of founded, because I was at a loss. The more I talked about it online, the more cases I got. And I was like, then I met, November and D and all that. And D became my national director. And we started really blooming the organization. We were traveling to all kind of conferences, and it was growing like a weed. Now we went back to our roots, which means that we're a research organization, and we're a privately owned, privately funded research organization. We're not a 501(c). You can't just ask to see our records. You have to be at a certain level in the organization, and it has to be cleared by more than one person. It's like when people ask to see a case file, or somebody wants to talk about maybe making a book out of something. Well, it has to be cleared by me. It has to be cleared by the new national director. Then it has to be cleared by whoever the story came from. It's to protect all of our asses. Because MUFON I don't want to say MUFON, but people in MUFON used to just take people's stories and write books out of them and make a little bit of money instead of doing it the way it should have been. That's all Jay's fault. He's an alien. He's an alien, man. Yes, he is.
And I think all of us are aliens.
Jeffrey called me the other day and said, Joe, your co-host is an alien. I said, Jeffrey, your co-host is an alien. He said, yeah, I know. What's it? Carolyn Marson? Where are you from? Marshall, I'm sorry. Where are you from? No more stupid questions off a messenger unless he tells me where you're from. I want a name and a place. And by the way, I was playing with Pal Talk again, so pretty soon I'm going to cut messenger off. I'm going to go to Pal Talk. What do you mean I'm never going to cut messenger? Hey, look, well, I guess I have had it about a decade now, but still. No, we're going to go to break, and Jay's going to play some. I haven't. Just one of them I haven't seen yet. So the one for Enterprise. The crazy, I don't think I've seen that one. All right, was it deep? You know what I know for sure I haven't seen is anything on Voyager. No Voyager. No, Voyager and Voyager are not the same thing. Mm-hmm.
Let's see if they got a redneck Voyager thingy up there.
When we come back, we're going to get into which government organizations know, what should you expect to be able to learn, what do they actually know, how can they be helpful, who out there may be being harmful to what we're talking about for contactees and abductees. In general, if you're not in that category as an abductee or contactee, you're screwed anyway, so don't worry about it. Yeah, when the end time comes, you won't even know. It'll be like, yeah, you're like, what? I'm dead. When you get on the other side, you'll be like, that was really fast. Joe was right. What do you mean, Clara? I'm an old bastard. How long I got to live? Because that sounds like it's coming now. Well, I mean, it might be a reincarnation. How do I know? Yeah, I don't know. I could be a reincarnated by then. Who told you I don't believe in reincarnation?
There is no Voyager parody video over there.
Wow, how queer.
Yeah.
I told you I'm reclaiming the queer and the gay. I'm reclaiming. I've been doing good too lately. Got other hosts doing it. Got some friends on other networks doing it. I don't care if you're homosexual. I just want my 2 words back. We used to use those words when I was young, man, and they didn't mean what they mean today. Just want my words back. You do whatever you want with your other self. I don't care. Well, I don't care what you are. What did the Pope say? The only person you got to worry about is God. You go for judgment. And if he thinks that's bad, well, I guess it'll be poof. You'll be staying in a place where it's full of fire. And if not, then you'll be talking to the furry bunnies. Tell you what, I got a better answer for this, but ask me on Friday because I can't tell you. Oh yeah, you'll like the other one much better. Mm-hmm.
I found a funny parody on it's called Lord of the Rednecks, Trailer Park of the Rings.
Oh Lord. I think somebody told me about that one, and there was one. And there's not one for Enterprise?
No. Oh, Enterprise? I would look for Voyager. No, yeah, there's one for Enterprise, I think.
Yeah, let's watch one for Enterprise. They no V. There's one for Stargate too somewhere. One I don't remember which Stargate it was, but it was for one of them.
Yeah, Stargate SG-1. That's in here. You want to watch? Yeah, I got that one's here right now. I can.
Yeah, go ahead, put them up. No, Vija was on the the first movie. He wipes it off. Oh, it's Voyager. Oh shit! And Voyager's come back to Earth to eat Earth. That was Tom. Yes. No, when we come back, we'll be talking about all that. We're gonna take a short break in 4, 5, 6 minutes or something, and then we'll come back and get into it kind of deep about what agencies are what doing what. And what other agencies are there
where did
that
that come from?
Talked about yet?
There it is.
Jay's weirded out because they switched everything back on our StreamYard.
Yeah, now I got used to everything before, and now I can go backwards again.
I don't know what's going on with these people. No, I love StreamYard, but sometimes, man, it makes me want to smack them.
Yeah.
No, you mean recommend? Yeah, excuse me. I would recommend StreamYard. It's a good system. I mean, we work it. I mean, we have a lot of shows on here, so it's working hard for us.
Yeah. All right. This is Redneck Stargate SG-1.
Oh my God! I can only imagine what's her face.
Podunk Portal.
Oh man! I can only imagine. Oh shit! Here we go. Yeah!
makes me kind of redneck anyway.
Last Tuesday in the swamp, there's a giant metal donut now where gators used to romp. Now the government's in my backyard in a double wide command, and I'm leading missions through a puddle to some godforsaken land. Now Sam, our local gearhead, says she'll get the power flowing, while Danny reads the symbols, not quite knowing where we're going. Then a fella from the next town who showed up in the night said a space snake's got his family and he's itching for a fight. Step on through the podunk portal, Lord knows where we'll land, fighting space snakes with a shotgun. It's a 4-man redneck band, spin that damn old podunk portal. Let those slithering critters come. We got grits and we got bullets, and we'll show them how it's done. Danny tries to trade them for coonskin cap and fail. Sam keeps poking at their spaceships, looking for spare rails. TLC just stand there silent till the shooting has to start. It ain't exactly science, but we've got it down to our heart. We call the bad guy snakeheads, an easy name to track, and their glowy-eyed patrolman got a target on their back. We don't need no fancy star map, just point us where to aim. From one world to another, son, the hunt is all the same. Step on through the podunk portal, Lord knows where we'll land, fighting space snakes with a shotgun. It's a 4-man redneck band, spin that damn old podunk portal. Let those slithering critters come. We got grits and we got bullets, and we'll show them how it's done. Back at home, the sheriff's mad about the county's power grid, while Danny's arguing that pyramids were built by alien squid. That snake king sent a message that he's gonna burn us down. I just cracked the beer and said, come try that in a small town. Step on through the podunk portal, Lord knows where we'll land, fighting space snakes with a shotgun. It's a 4-man redneck band, spin that damn old podunk portal. Let those slithering critters come. We got grits and we got bullets, and we'll show them how it's done.
We got grits and we got guns, huh?
How does grits and guns get it done?
I love how much I can bundle and save on insurance. A Liberty
I don't know if I've ever seen Jack eat any grits. I've seen him with lots of guns, though. Was it Bobby G? No. Where are you these days, anyway? Still in Cali? Yeah. LA? Oh, yeah, huh? Mm-hmm. I don't know. I'll be out there sometime this year. I usually go about twice a year because I usually go out for Riders of the Future, and then usually for whoever I get to go hang out with for filming. Sometimes at Discovery. No, I've only been with Prometheus twice. That was for Sci-Fi Channel. Then for Ancient Aliens. Sorry. Yeah, those weirdos at Ancient Aliens. They're weird. Yeah, something they really know what's going on over there.
Well, Ancient Aliens did start on the Sci-Fi Channel, didn't it?
Do what?
Did it start? No, it started on the History Channel.
Yeah, I think it did start History Channel.
History Channel, not Sci-Fi.
Well, Sci-Fi buys a lot of stuff, but no, they still where they've always been. Maybe like season 15 or 16 or something.
Oh, like season 20 or something like that. Let me look on IMDb. Let me see. Oh, and by the way, the Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade was, or the Skull was not the last one. The last one was Dial of Destiny, which I haven't seen yet.
Dial of Destiny, I ain't heard of it.
That's the one with they go after the Spear of Longinus, I do believe.
It sounds like one of them library episodes.
Yeah.
There was a series called The Library. It's actually, there was a movie and a series. Yeah.
There were a couple of movies, like special event movies, and then they made it into a series, like 2 or 3 movies, and then a series. Very good series too.
Yes, it's kind of like a effed up Warehouse 13.
Well, episode guide says 285 episodes. Let's see how many seasons that is. No, more than 15.
Yeah, because 200 episodes
More
for
than 19.
I think 200
More than-
episodes was 10 years for Stargate.
22 episodes. The last one was aired March 5th.
You mean I don't know? I watched a lot of Ancient Aliens. I find a lot of it to be jibber jabber, but you know.
Yeah, a good bit of it's the old they've run out of they've hit every topic at least once, so they do a lot of rehashing nowadays.
So, well, the Men in Black are, well, they're probably at least somewhere involved with the military abductions, as at least part of it. Because the Men in Black don't always look human. Sometimes they look weird. Sometimes they're out of phase. Sometimes they look like a hybrid. Well, they said there's a rogue group of Greys out there. That maybe that's who's doing the military abductions. Well, and maybe that's why the Greys feel such a need, or the reptilians or humans feel such a need when they find them with their abductees, is to sterilize the place. Well, no, they'll take the contactee as long as they can, and there's no damage, but they'll sterilize the place regardless. Yes, sterilization of everybody in the place. I think it's just like a warning for everybody else. Don't do that anymore.
Sterilization, you mean like no longer able to have children? Sterilization, or cleaning the place where they were abducted?
Yeah, the sterilization meaning that nothing's left in the room. Period. Nothing. Even if there was a phone hanging on a wall, it wouldn't be there no more. It'd be toast. I don't know. And there's been several reports of where they've blown out whole fronts of buildings. Sounds like something out of Doctor Who. It's well, I'm just saying they just because they're funny about them getting hold of their contactees, especially contactees that may possess advanced training of some sort. Well, because some contactees have advanced training. They've been in reactor rooms, or they've been allowed to fly the ship, or they've been around the weapon systems, or they've worked with the Greys or Tins of Humans to help with the contactees they have on board the ship with the children on board their ship. Don't look at me. I don't make the rules. I mean, you have this alien civilization, and when people get screwy with this, but we're not actually part of the alien civilization. We're their interest, maybe their hobby. Thank God we're not their fondue people. Let's just chill.
Perhaps even a zoo or some sort of recreational spot, at least for the tall whites of Charles Hall's description. It's just kind of sort of a waypoint for them to and from wherever they're going, home and work or whatever.
Well, Jesse, so Jay and I have talked about this many times. We've talked about this on this show many times with many different people. So the funny part about this galaxy, I mean, this solar system is if humans truly evolved here, we'd have probably evolved on Mars, slightly different than the way we are today, but we'd have probably came from there. We just seem better suited to the planet. Now, what would have suited to be more suited to this planet would have been the reptilians or even the humans, but I would have thought the human aliens would have been more suited to Venus because they didn't like this atmosphere on this planet anyway. Or maybe they came from the fifth planet. But regardless, all three of these species could have came right here in this local group from this local area inside of the whatchamacallit for the star, the inhabitable zone. Yes. So I mean, we had the planets for this. I mean, we know that Mars was way different back in the day. They want to make it like billions and billions of years, but they don't really know because they haven't been there. And if they find water underneath it and life underneath the ground, then it's going to change updating. Nobody can know when the hell Venus was because it keeps changing the surface every 90 days or something. Redoes the surface. So nobody knows what the hell's going on there. Earth,
Well,
we know what's going on.
at the surface, it's like 475 degrees Fahrenheit in the daytime. The pressures are so, it's like being at the bottom of the ocean. So you basically have to build a nuclear tactical sub to even survive in that kind of millibars of pressure.
And then Chris, and that wasn't how it always was, because we know from the upper atmosphere at one time it was closer to what's here than what's not. Well, no, because their upper atmosphere, Christopher, is almost identical.
There were 4 planets allegedly in the solar system that had life. If you go by the Urantia book, Venus, Earth, Mars, and we'll call it Nibiru for lack of a better name. What the asteroid belt is now was once a planet 5 times as big as Earth. All of them were water planets. All of them had life, and something changed that. The 5th planet is now rubble. Mars' atmosphere and ocean are gone. Earth's ocean is 3 times more than it should be. It's more than 3/4. It's 7/10. It's 70% of the planet. And then whatever happened to Venus, it's greenhouse gases gone amok. I mean, it's what would have happened to us if we hadn't stopped using certain fluorocarbons.
So no, Donnie. So the point is all the races we talk about could be from this local group. Now the problem here is thinking that and thinking they're screwing around with us makes me kind of stop for a minute and think, okay, maybe this wasn't an accident. I mean, we're talking about 3 distinctive races, because even back then we were just children, and we came after the cataclysm anyway. So those 3 races somewhere along the lines said, you know what? Well, that's why I don't think any of them were from Earth. I think they were all from the other 3 planets.
Mm-hmm.
And Earth was probably because Earth was full of dinosaurs and all kind of other critters. Even the reptilians that want to live here. I mean, come on. Do you want to be competing with raptors all the time? I mean, there was a lot of raptors on the planet, all different sizes. Even reptilians, as bad as they are, I'm sure a pack of raptors could make short work of 7-foot tall raptors running around. No. Even the 3-foot ones were probably bad to the bone. So, they probably were from their own planets. And then, well, either one, Jack, could have been from the big planet, because reptilians are thick, but humans are thick too. Maybe they were both from there. The reptilians tend to always want to tell you they're from way out and they've been colonized this way. And Drago was colonized before Earth was. The Draco system, yeah. But they say the whole Draco system belongs to it. And I'd have to go sit and see how many planets and all they have in there. Well, that's the thing. We can't see if a planet's been terraformed from here. Not yet. Not that kind of. And we're not looking at little side moons or small planets. That's not stuff we're looking at.
Yeah. I think in order for us to get that kind of data, we'd have to actually get a direct air sample. And then we could say, oh, there's, these kind of man-made nuclear particles. This is definitely a terraformed planet.
Okay, so Jimmy, wait, stop. What you're talking about is, okay, the new telescope sends out a wave, and the wave goes through the atmosphere. And because of the way it reacts to the atmosphere, they can detect certain chemicals. Jay and I have talked about this. One planet, they think they found hydrocarbons, which
like
are
from a car.
Yeah. Hydrocarbons are 99.9% coming from something. It's something that can make them in nature.
Mechanical.
And then on the next planet, they found all the building blocks of life in the atmosphere. So if there isn't life, life is on its way.
It'll be there, yeah.
Yeah. And a couple other places. And then they have found what they consider to be 672 Dyson spheres, maybe more than that. They keep finding these things, and it blots out a sun. I mean, something's got to be damn big to blot out a sun. And it's not; these aren't planets, because it doesn't act like a planet.
No.
A planet passes in front of the sun, and it's a dot. These things cover the sun. This is something.
The only effect the planet has by passing in front of the sun is it shifts on its nearest pass. It shifts the planet to the red spectrum, and on its furthest away pass, it shifts the planet to the blue spectrum or the ultraviolet spectrum. So that's why when you look at a solar system up in the sky, it twinkles and it goes red, blue, red, blue, red, blue. That's because the planets are shifting the color of the light coming off the sun. when you look at a planet, they just shine, they glow because they're not emitting light, they're reflecting light. So they don't shift, they don't go red, blue, red, blue.
Purple, green, and red. We doing Mardi Gras, Jack? Purple, green, and gold would be Mardi Gras anyway. It's now the way all this is set up is it's very interesting to where we are right now in the universe and the things that we can see. But there's been a couple of times that the new telescope thinks it have seen what could possibly be life. And recently, somebody was talking about Pluto because people don't realize that Pluto has liquid water on it. So the idea of life there has to be pretty intense. Well, you can't have liquid water without heat, doofus. And somehow it has light. So the outer planets and even the moons of Saturn and Jupiter have been very interesting because we found out that there are small little habitable zones that just are creating themselves because mainly in the ones and moons, it's because they're so close to the planets, it makes the planet move in and out. So it creates heat. So that's what that is. But for Pluto, nobody knows what the hell, why it's got heat.
I think the similar idea is it's a gravitational shift. It pulls the planet and makes it heat up and cool down.
Yeah, but they can't find anything in gravitational shift on it. That's what they were talking about. See, whatchamacallit Labs the other day was talking about maybe there is another planet out there, or a big giant iceberg about 8 or 9 times the size of Earth.
There's something out there tugging on the outer planets. They don't know what it is. One speculation is it's the brown dwarf, which would be invisible to our detection devices until it got
a brown dwarf would melt everything. So that I don't think it's brown dwarf, but it's something. Originally, because brown dwarfs are interesting things, but anything that would be that close to them would melt. It'd melt them. It would just. They do get hot, Jackie. Yeah, and if you're in the middle of the Oort cloud or something like that, you're going to be disintegrating. Yeah, it's because you're going to be passing it and stuff. You'll be melted. You'll be cool liquid water out there. If we start seeing weird shaped icebergs, we'll know something's out there. I don't know. I mean, there's been speculation that there is some froze over planet.
Hey, Heidi.
So there is. But anyway, getting back to Uncle Sam. So, I mean, the government of Uncle Sam itself, I really think knows less than any good researcher. Or any, you know what, not even a good researcher, okay researcher. A researcher that's on a level of about 5 or 6. I think that's about where the government is. As far as, what's that, Brian? As far as the Men in Black go, it really depends on who the Men in Black actually are. Are they part of the Rogue Grays? And they know a lot. But are they just another military abduction group out there? Then that's what they're doing. Then they only know what they can get out of a contactee, which isn't a lot because the Grays aren't going to let you get anything out of them, or any of the races are.
There's a little speculation that at least part of, or some of the Men in Black are part of the or representatives of, maybe not necessarily part of, but perhaps representatives of the Council of Nine, and allegedly are here investigating alien goings on within our atmosphere, as it were.
The light being said, everything that was on this planet has been dissolved, except for the 3 races, and that the Greys are absolutely and unequivocally in control of this planet. And you can ask, I mean, there are just dozens and dozens and dozens of contactees have been told this. I don't even know why they're telling them. It was like a precursor to something else that was coming. Like they were, like something else they were getting ready to tell them or something. It's very strange. It's because for a while there did seem to be several different groups that want a planet, but then when you got right down into it, no, because they're not allowed to be here. The council doesn't allow anybody to be here, but then those races. And by the way, they don't even want the human races here because they're the one they said started all in trouble. I didn't curse that. But they're the ones that they say made all the trouble, like that bad cat right there. Look at that's a troublemaker. You can just look at that cat. That cat's trouble.
This is a troublemaker. He's one of the youngest kiddies we got, and this is Boris, and he's
Look at his name,
kind of a
Boris.
badass.
You know he's a troublemaker right there.
Oh yeah,
troublemaker name. No, John. I mean, it gets weird. The more you get into this, the more a lot of stuff gets shifted away from this. It starts to become cleaner that you really see these three races really controlling over the scene. You know, we know the humans are saying this, the government's saying that, and other people are saying this. But when you watch what they do and judge them by their actions, they're very, very, very controlling. There's nobody coming here that has not been cleared by them, and it's just, and actually, I think they got to be cleared by the council and the Greys.
Well,
because they put the Greys in charge.
Even back as far as the 50s, there was upwards of, according to abductee reports and other data compiled. I don't know who compiled it, but the show was on I think it was on ABC. Mike Farrell was the host from MASH, and they had several studies that they were talking about on that show about UFOs. And it was done like a kind of like a telethon, you know. But anyway, they said that at some point throughout the 50s, 40s, 50s, and part of the 60s, that upwards of 11 or 12 races were interacting with this planet, and then I would think that switchover was somewhere in the 70s. It turned into 4 or 5 species interacting.
I could have went with that, except for those three species we're talking about have been here for a really, 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 really long time. See, that's the proof in the pudding is that the reptilians and humans are talked about for as long as we've been here. So they have complete and utter control, and we know that the Greys control them now, which means they have complete and utter control of everything that goes on this planet and has had it for however long O negative's been here, 40, 50, 60,000 years. That's the real proof in the pudding. So if anybody is here, then they would know about it, they would be involved in it, and there would be a specific reason why they would be here. So they ain't gonna just allow anybody in this planet. They have never before, and I don't know why they would have done any time after. Well, no, Jesse, what happens is a lot of things get started that are not, they're based in something, but they're not actually fact. I mean, how do I know? Because how many cases we have? Well, because contact is a very interesting thing. First off, we use what we call abduction criteria to start off with. And then we do comparison studies against other contact groups, not from just our organizations, but from other ones. And since I have friends a lot in the field, we start looking for things, similarities, and just things that they may have been told, questions about, who else is here, what are they doing. And it's funny because the Gray and reptilian contactees will always tell you the same thing. Go ask a Gray. And matter of fact, I can't remember her name, Jean Landry. It's okay to say her name. She used to say, make sure it's 5 foot or taller, Joe, because the other ones don't know anything. It's like, what? He said the other ones are stupid. I said, how do you know they're not one of those, what do you call cyborgs? She said, they're not. They're just, I think they just aggravated, to be honest with you. No, so we need proof when there's other races. There's lots and lots of proof about the 3 races we're talking about right now, but anything after that, even the light beams, there may be 50 cases, if that. It's like Charles White. I guarantee you, if there is 50 cases, it would be a miracle. It's probably like more like 25. I believe Charles. I believe the whole story. But not because of Charles. When I first met Charles, and I've said this many times on the air, I knew, I didn't think Charles was lying to me. I knew by talking to him, he believed everything he said. My problem was everything he said true? He said some stuff that made you wonder. But after enough broadcasts on air, we started getting other people from other places, mainly out of Vegas. We had a couple military people come forward too, and we actually had another weather guy come forward. Yeah, that worked.
Didn't he also have? I mean, they weren't his pictures, but weren't there also? In one of his lectures, he showed surveillance pictures of the tall whites like entering or exiting one of the casinos in Las Vegas.
Yeah, and somebody else had pictures besides that too that came up.
Yeah.
Well, okay, Ronnie. So I'm sorry, Liz. Where are you from, Liz? Anyway, I don't recognize the name. Chicago. Oh, I feel for you, baby. Um, well, there was other sources that pictures that came forward from, but some of them were so hard. I mean, it looked like what he was talking, but you couldn't be 100% because so much of the head was covered up that you had to wonder if it was like the hoodie was on and big glasses were on, and maybe there was some makeup being used or something. Well, you don't know for sure. That's a problem because you couldn't verify the sources. But I mean, come on, I talked to two, three, altogether four state troopers towards the end. There was two I had met about halfway through, and then recently I met another two. I met several people who worked at tables. I met a couple of taxi cab drivers and some food people. One of the guys, you know how they got the carts in the street, and they were buying food from one of the carts in the street. I guess it was like sausages or something like that. Apparently, it looked pretty good. And the guy who was working the thing, came out as a witness, said they asked him if they had something like cooked rat or cooked rodent or something like that. He's like, no, and he thought they were teasing, right? No, I don't know. Do they eat that kind of stuff?
That might be their natural food. Yeah.
I don't know, Jesse. Who knows? We don't know. And then they really didn't talk about it. You don't really hear the well, the grays you do because we know the grays kind of weirdly absorb their food through their skin. I guess you call it like an osmosis, but it's weird.
It is osmosis, is that process? Yes, it's. Well, I mean, our skin absorbs nutrients through the skin as well, but not to the level of sustaining us like a 7-course meal.
Raymond, where you from, babe? Oh, St. Louis. How you doing? No, the blue plasma is it's not the only thing they use. Blue plasma, I think they use because it's also a fuel for their ship. So I think they use it for like when they're really drained, really low, and they're tired and they need to regenerate for some reason, or maybe they've been injured or something. Because I know when they put humans in it, all the humans when they get out of it say they feel spectacular, like they're 15 years younger or something. And it tends to last for a while on you. Yeah, up to a couple of years.
It's kind of like the sarcophagus in SG-1,
Yeah,
right?
kind of sort of. I guess that's a good way of saying it. Well, no, you can be immersed in it. You can somehow know that you breathe, so they immerse you in it completely in the pool. But it's not the only thing they eat. They eat other things, but there's some type of light. Other people have said they have seen them just like absorbing the light. Well, it's weird because actually more than that. Like, come to think about it. Anyways, it's more than 7. I can't remember exactly. Have talked about this room where this light comes out of the wall. Well, in the gray ships, everything can be lit somehow or another. It's like ambient light. It's just everywhere, and they can just control it. But anyway, it was coming out this one wall in a very, very bluish, brightish color, and they were absorbing it. And everybody said the weird part was there was no shadow behind them. They were absorbing the full spectrum of the light. I don't even know how that's possible. So, but by the way, that was abduction criteria I just told everybody. Damn it! I hope none.
Well, they wouldn't have known if you hadn't just said that.
It's good to know that, people. Well, there's only a handful anyway, so you can a couple of dozen cases at that. It varies. Well, some things we've got tens of thousands of, and some things we've got a couple hundred. What do you mean? What makes us trust something? It has a lot to do with the people. It has a lot to do with the people willing to go through. We do polygraphs. We do voice stress analysis. We do hypnosis. All of that is offered. Always offered with teams, meaning it don't matter who does this. There's always going to be somebody. You're going to always bring somebody with you. Always. And we're going to give you a recording device that you can actually take home with you, or at least take the chip home with you. And so you get to hold it, or your friend gets to hold it. So everything that goes on in that session is recorded. And we always have a video recording of it, and an audio recording. No, we always make the researcher bring somebody with them. And we make the person bring somebody with it. It's rare that the two will do it. I mean, if it's somebody who's been working together for a long time, it's different. But my longest hypnosis session was like 11, 12 hours. It was a friend of mine from France. They came over for 10 days, and we did 10 days of hypnosis. We got more information out of that than I don't even know what to do with. Well, she was being taken by a reptilian. Also, she always said she was dating this beautiful guy who was fabulously gorgeous, and they used to get on planes and go places together. And that was the reptilian. Don't ask me, Jack. What do you mean, like a compression suit? I don't know how I do it. I don't know if it was 100% real, if it was just something that was in her head that the reptilian put there, or what. But she said they used to go out to dinner and stuff, and so don't ask me. No, I don't think any of the races are shapeshifters. Not like what humans consider shapeshifting. I imagine the energy to shapeshift has got to be enormous. And to be able to hold a different thing like that, it's going to have to take an enormous amount of energy, power, and skill. And I don't think a flesh and blood being can do that. But I think light beings can because they're made out of energy. I think they can take whatever form they want to take. And they're probably not the only ones. But when it comes right down to flesh and blood beings, I'm having an issue that they can transform. Native Americans don't say that humans can do it. They say that the gods and the deities and the aliens can do it. They don't talk about you and me.
Well, I wouldn't be totally against the idea that there's a species out there that is an elastomorph. They can, change.
I'm not against it. It's just when you get down to the science of it, it gets really, really, really hard for it to be, a flesh and blood.
But there's a lot of lore and myth, lycanthropy, people changing into werewolves, people, vampires.
But it doesn't matter what you change into. There has to be a metamorphosis, which means you have to expend energy, which means you're not actually human.
Right.
If you can create the metamorphosis, you're not actually human. You're a whole entire different species that can
exactly. I mean,
but it also means that your anatomy is based on energy, not on flesh and blood. Even though you transform in that, it's the energy that keeps you alive, and it's the energy that allows you to transform. So, so when it comes down to it, that's what I'm saying. It's we try to keep it on the science as much as we can because it makes a big difference when you talk about someone being a transformer. When people start thinking, oh well, that guy's solid bone and brick, and he can just transform. Well, no, but
what about the case of Odo?
Else,
he's a liquid form sentient creature, but he can solidify his form. And if some of the really, really good
because he's made out of liquid, I don't have any problem with that. My only problem,
he didn't make a full looking. I mean, you could tell he wasn't completely, human. He was close, but some of his changeling friends could, they could walk by humans, and you wouldn't tell that. You could not tell that they were a changeling.
Yeah. Well, anything that's made out of something like that, I don't have a problem with. It's just if you're made out of just flesh and bone, that's where my issue comes in. That I just don't think flesh and bone actually has those abilities. I think that's ability that comes later on when we become an energy creature.
That's a good point, especially like the Incredible Hulk. You get this 5'6" man scientist who turns into this 7-foot tall hulking mass, and the angrier he gets, he can get as tall as 9 feet tall. The metamorphosis on that would how would your bones and all grow to that 3-4 times the size?
Yeah, even with the gamma radiation. Well, Jack, gamma radiation would probably disintegrate your bones, but we're going to be nice. Yeah. We all love dogs, so we're going to be nice.
Well, you come to find out that he has in the comics. Banner has an X gene that makes him immune to gamma for whatever reason, but he also doesn't. Not only is he immune to it, but he stores it. So when he shot himself with that blast, he overloaded himself with. He'll be the Hulk forever.
You mean the last Hulk? Oh, you talk about when they were when he was just being the Hulk and he didn't have to be Banner when he was fighting all the time and living in that crazy city. Yeah, that was funny. It was funny. I liked when your boy came and cut Thor's hair. That shit was hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
Please don't touch my hair. Anyway, we're gonna leave that alone. No, getting back to what we're talking about. So getting right back to the military for a minute. Most of what we're talking about right here, they don't even have a clue about. They're just lost. And anything they're thinking about is technologically that may be used for defense. And the Greys just aren't going to give it to them. Neither is the Returns of Humans. Put it this way, they're not going to give anything to us that we could use against them because they know sooner or later somebody on this
We
effing
will.
planet will use it against them.
Absolutely.
We're not a united planet yet, Claire. We got to become a united planet. Well, yeah, the Greys could fly over DC and Moscow and Beijing and just said, "Look,
They have
SOBs."
flown over DC. I don't know about
No, but
Moscow. They flew over
I
DC
mean,
twice.
like in the movie V or in the other movie, the 4th of July, they just fly over big ships. Say, okay, look, this is how it's going to be. You're going to get together. You're going to go to national guard. You're going to go get together, do the UN, and then you're going to elect a leader, and y'all going to become one world. You're going to give all your military to one country, not to China, not to Russia. It's going to have to guess if you go to the United States or EU. And
But
then
we have the best stuff, so we probably would take that mantle.
and then we're going to have a world leader, and each country will be divided up into states, and each one will have its own leader, and away we go. There'll be like just a bunch of states. No, they're going to stay here and make us do it because if not, we'll be idiots. Because you can't let us into space right now. I mean, come on, we managed to screw up Africa and South America. Yes. We handled the Africans poorly and took complete advantage. I mean, we didn't do much better with the South Americans. We talk about indigenous land. Save that shit for Friday. I'll explain what indigenous land is in the United States and in South America. You completely wrong. So just come see me Friday. I'll tell you all about it. No, because you're wrong. No, man, who they were conquered. What are you talking about? You're an idiot. We didn't conquer them. Spain conquered. Don't be stupid. You know what? Maybe the extraterrestrials conquered because the Aztec Inks and Mayans were very iffy skiffy about reptilians. Yeah, what's the sun guy? Oh yeah, they were iffy skiffy about it. Kublai Kai or something. I can't remember his name now. But, I don't know. And they were very bloody. At least 2 of them were. One using your head for sports. Yeah. Just could you imagine that today?
They
Could
had
you
a
imagine?
game that was like soccer and basketball that they played with their enemy's skull.
Could you imagine Pete Haggs had set up a game in it right now in Iraq? I mean, in Iran.
Iran kicking Khomeini's head through a hoop.
That's just wrong, Jim. Nice.
I'm in. I'll play.
Nice. No, the everyday military just doesn't know. That's one of the reasons they open up Congress to let them do this. Well, some of the industrial complex does now. If you're talking about certain types of business and things like that.
Yeah,
Boeing,
as far as our
Lockheed,
government and
things
who
like
knows
that
the
goes.
most, the military industrial complex knows more than the actual government. And I'll say, as far as general military personnel, if you're not a colonel on down, you know nothing. If colonels on up, probably know. A little
Even
bit.
they are probably limited to what they know.
Limited, but a little bit. They're in on the why and where we keep it secret. They don't know exactly why, but they follow their orders.
Well, the government's so compartmentalized, even half the time they don't know what they know. No, so the industrial complex knows a lot because a lot of that technology goes to them. They're the ones backwards engineering it. They might not necessarily know that much about the aliens, but they know a lot about their technology. The alien work is probably done out at Area 51 or a lab like that. If the aliens allow us to keep one of their brethren, I guess. No, there's nothing we have on this planet could stop a reptilian, human, or grave from coming in and retrieving one of their bodies. Nope. We could whistle dicks. Don't even start with me about the Dulce and the underground fire. That is such bullshit. So, the Greys are shooting at guards. Okay. First off, the Greys' telepathic abilities are so good. I mean, let me explain. So
they don't need a weapon for us.
Yeah, they don't. And they could just make you think whatever. They can make you jump over a railing, they can make you shoot yourself in the head. And they don't have one piece. They can do large groups at a time. And there were a lot of Greys down here. So they were trying to say there was a running firefight with humans against Greys. It was the dumbest thing I ever heard.
Yeah, Phil Schneider was not in a firefight with aliens. It was revealed probably a good 10 years after his death. He lost his fingers in a I believe it was a mining accident or geological. He was a geologist as well. So he lost his hands in some kind of accident in that regard, or maybe a car accident. I don't remember exactly the story, but he wasn't hit with a laser beam.
I remember I was in where was I in Chicago? I think I was doing a lecture, and I had brought that up. I said, I can't believe no one thought about this when this was brought up about the Gray's telepathic abilities, their weapon abilities, their shot, their hand-eye coordination. I said, plus those patches they wear allow them to do things that humans can't even think of. I said, I just never could understand why they thought that was going on. I said, I mean, the Gray just think you're dead, you're dead. I mean, you don't have to think anything else. You
Yeah,
squeeze an artery in the brain.
They can use telekinesis and burst your heart or hold it.
Yeah, I bet you they could do the whole base if they wanted to.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Mr. Spock said it the best about the Telosians. You know, he said that we find that their mind power may be so powerful that they could reach out and swat this starship as though it were a fly. All they would have to do is make one of us push the wrong button or say the wrong phrase or do this and that, and the entire ship is.
Actually, Jack, I don't think telepathy has a range or a thicknesses, meaning that I think it can pass through planets. The only time I think you're going to have a problem with telepathy if there's certain energies around that may mess it up. But as far as just solid objects or distance, I don't think it matters. I think as long as you're a decent telepath, then you can send a wave. At what speed? I don't know. Is it like light speed, faster than light speed? I guess just some people you could ask about that. Well, it's when you hear somebody say, "Okay, I was dreaming and I was talking to some alien on some planet that's I don't know, 70 light years away, 80 light years away." So, but it was in real time. Well, how is that possible? How's that connection 80 light years back and forth? It's 160 light years back. I mean, that's a huge distance. The speed would have to be enormous. But if they could do micro wormholes, it would not, would it? It would be instantaneous. Yeah, I've heard of micro wormhole thing a couple times. They've talked about maybe trying to use it on Earth for communication. My problem is, don't go screwing with a bunch of micro wormholes unless you can make sure they don't grow. I don't want to be sucked into a giant vortex. But anyway, moving on. So again, leaving the military down, we're going to give them last place as far as who knows what about extraterrestrials. The industrial complex. Let's talk about them for a little bit. How much can they know? So I'm sure they're given certain types of technology to backwards engineer, which gives them a leg up in the military, but it doesn't really give them a leg up on the researchers because the researchers know about most of the technologies and most of the weaponry. So plus they know other things that the industrial complex don't know. No, the difference is what's your name? Raylene. The difference is that the industrial complex has it in real time and they actually probably have a real object where as a researcher knows it exists but doesn't actually possess the technology. Yes. Ooh, partial knee replacement. Ouch, man. Ouch. I had a lot of surgery on one knee. That shit sucks. Well, no, I mean, so it would just be a partial technology. Well, the way, I mean, telepathy just doesn't seem to have a range or a distance. So I know y'all had all heard of remote viewing back in the day, and what was his name? Colonel Holt. No, wasn't Colonel Holt. What was his name? I can't think of his name right now, but he used to get on coast to coast and all over. They remote view all over the place. So all of a sudden, I think it was in 2000 or 1999, I think that it was a U.S. Navy and the U.S. Air Force. I know it was U.S. Navy and U.S. Air Force decided to end their remote viewing programs, which I didn't even know they had. I thought that was just for some PSYOPs group, and go back looking for telepaths. They actually put an ad, not just in the paper, but on TV, looking for people who may have been clairvoyant or possessed any type of telekinesis or telepathy. I heard one mention after that about that program. The program still exists, but They don't ever talk about it. They're not recruiting. I guess they find their sources other ways. Well, Gene, I'll tell you the differences. So remote viewing is a cool thing. So remote viewing can find that missile launcher in Russia. Yes, they can see it. They know it's there, but can they? It's hard to get coordinates or codes for the missile launch itself. But telepath can actually look through the person's eyes. Yeah, the person who's working or the person who's there actually get the code. They can get the code out their head, or while they're pressing it in, they can get the code. They can also sometimes even, if they're a strong enough telepath, get the person to do other things. So it was a little bit more advanced. So I wanted to shift over to that. And then that's, like I said, you don't really hear about it much. Remote viewing is still taught in different places for people, but if you can remote view, more than likely you're a telepath. So why not develop your telepathic abilities? They're much more advanced than remote viewing is. Well, Jack, if you're remote viewing, how do you think you're seeing another object if you're not a telepath or some type of psychic ability? I'm just asking. Mm-hmm. I met a lot of people in remote viewing. I knew a lot about it, but I knew some really good telepaths. Well, one just slightly better than others. Just like upgrade is all it is. It's like an empath versus a telepath. Same thing. Empaths are cool. They know a lot. They can see a lot, but the telepath gets the empathic feelings and the sheer out knowledge. Same thing with the remote viewer. It gets all that knowledge what the remote viewer can't obtain. Because you can't remote view a number out of somebody's head, but a telepath can. Actually, for a telepath, it's even easier because if they're looking through a page, they're getting the information, they're seeing it. Technically, they probably all have a use. A clairvoyant is somebody who can predict the future.
Yeah, or can see. It's almost like remote viewing, but a lot clearer. But and also the thing about telepathy is, if you need a number, or let's say you needed someone's combination at their locker at school, and you're a full telepath, you can just you could trigger their mind to remember that number, and then you go ding and yank it on out. It's not like you pull it away; they forget the number. They will still remember it. Now you have it too.
Yeah, no, that's why they went to telepath. There's just more information. So, you can go see I can't remember his name. He's been on many Coast to Coast. It's Colonel. I can't think of his name, but just type in remote viewing on Coast to Coast. He'll come right up. Yeah, Ed Dames. That's what his name was. So you can go and check his program out, and things like that. I ain't got nothing against. I've talked to him many times. Wasn't a problem for me. No, the military did it because they needed just more information. But I'll tell you what seems to be evading everybody is telekinesis. For some reason, we just can't seem to develop telekinesis. Telekinesis, Lorena, is the ability to, with your mind, cause and effect, move things,
make things move with your mind, operate vehicles without touching them,
reach into somebody's head and squeeze the main artery in their brain.
It's a lot like the Force in Star Wars, where Luke's hanging upside down in the monster's cave, and he goes, and he wills his lightsaber into his hand. It's almost exactly like that.
It's no, I mean it's what it is. I mean it's just telekinesis. For some reason, we're not even close. People tell me all the time, "Oh, we've got telekinesis." I said, "Really? Then why is Xi Jinping still alive? Why is Vladimir Putin still alive? Why is Donald Trump still alive? Why is Captain Planet still alive?"
The CIA tried it. They were looking at all kinds of ways. One, I mean, there was a great movie, and I'm sure the CIA probably tried something of this account, but Dennis Quaid, Dreamscape, where the government recruits mildly and highly telepathic people and trains them to go, and one of them is a psychopath, and trains them to go into people's minds while they're sleeping and interact with them in their dreams, and also not only that, but to interact with the dream and change it. and then they eventually want that person to go into someone's dream and extract information and then kill that person in their dream so they die in real life. And so they were making like, telepathic assassins. Very cool. Would have made a very great TV show premise.
Yeah, but I mean, the second one kind of sucked, but
yeah, they suck, Heidi.
Oh wait, no, maybe I'm getting confused with Scanners. I don't know. Anyway,
Scanners is kind of similar. It was like mental powers, and there was like
the dream. I remember Dreamscape because they were after the president and all, but
yeah,
Scanners. I don't know. I never did like Scanners for some reason.
But, yeah, it was that and Videodrome were kind of similar movies. Where one guy, I think it's Scanner. I think they might be both movies. That some guy's head explodes, but
somebody's head explodes. Well, John, when you mess around somebody's head, it's liable to explode, man. Yeah.
If you want a good head explosion, the first Toxic Avenger. The Camaro scene when they run over the kid on the bike and squish his head like a melon. Oh my god, it's one of the coolest special effects I've ever seen in my life. I've been trying to figure out how they did that for years. They probably actually did run over a melon, to be honest with you.
Yeah, some kind. No, so like we just said, the industrial complex knows a lot. I don't think they know as much as the Men in Black or the research, or anyway, certain research.
They know enough about their technology that there's nothing that we can do. Nothing. Even with what they have of their technology, and then what they've integrated into our technology, and what technology of theirs we're able to operate, even on the most rudimentary level. There isn't a goddamn thing we can do. If we tried to use their technology against them, they'd be just like, bloop. Planet Earth is now a black dot on the map.
Planet Earth is closed for the next 1 million years. Come back in 1 million years.
Yep.
It'll be green and pretty again. Thank you. See you then.
Sorry. Well, pardon our dust. We're remodeling.
Yeah. For a gray, 1 million years isn't squat. Yeah, it might have been in their beginnings like us.
Before they were fixed by the light beings, their lifespan was maybe tens of thousands of years. But yeah, I mean, I don't know if they will live billions, but
well, see,
rumor has it though that they're around a 2 million year species now. Their lifespan is 2 or 3 million years.
Oh, I think it's way longer than that. It's so you've got a really, really advanced race. So they already say that the reptilians and humans are around somewhere between 300 and 500 million years old. But that would put the Greys at least double that. At least double that. Well, you think it's a long time, people, but in a galaxy.
Well, and quite honestly, we don't know how fast after the Big Bang, how fast did life begin to emerge in the universe.
Yeah.
Potentially there could be species out there. There could be species here that are 13 billion years old.
Yeah, just remember that, Ryan. So in this galaxy, there are parts of it that are 13, 14 billion years old. All throughout known space, there's things that, I mean, it's 14 million years back. So you got to go back good ways. But our galaxy
is relatively young.
Our solar system is like 5 billion years.
4.5. You call it 5 billion, 4.5, 4.6.
Our galaxy is double that. It's so yeah, that means in this race, in this galaxy,
double plus 3 actually.
Yeah. So
but also like you think about this, our solar system is 4.5. Our galaxy is like 10 billion years old. So we're relatively young inside our galaxy, which is relatively young inside our universe, which is competing against things that are, 3 to 4 billion years older.
Oh, it gets hairy crazy, Jack. Yeah, that's the whole point. It's when you look at things, there could be races so much older than us, and everybody's like, "Well, their planet won't last." Well, yeah, because you know what? We're going to do the same thing. Eventually, we're going to move.
Yeah, we're going to have to. Our sun will eventually explode and kill all of the inner planets.
No, Jack, we're gonna really move. We're gonna move to a different solar system because this one will be gone unless we learn how to.
What would be
create
cool?
A new store.
What would be really cool is we get immortality. We cure ourselves of death. Number one. Number two, when our planet, or rather our sun, goes supernova, we're sitting pretty on another really cool planet somewhere nearby. But we also get to watch, and when our sun goes nova, boom, it hits Jupiter, and boom, turns Jupiter into a sun, changes the solar system. How cool would that be to watch it ignite another sun?
Well, they think that Jupiter may ignite when this becomes a red dwarf. So
that's what I just said. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
When our sun explodes, it ignites Jupiter.
Yeah. Okay. I misunderstood what you said. Yeah. They because our sun will go. It won't explode at first. It'll jump out to. It'll just like
it'll expand.
Yeah. To I think they say almost to Mars. We'll be gone. We'll be a barbecued crisp, but
if we're still here, yes.
Yeah, I mean, no, we'll probably
if we haven't moved on, yeah, we will be crusted.
But that's to say we can't deflect it, or we can't, figure out how to stop it or how to put a new sun in there. By then we're talking 3 billion years. No,
if the heliosphere of the sun touches the Earth, it will melt it into magma. No. Nothing will survive. It'll sterilize the planet.
It'll be a drip in the sky, is what it'll be.
Yeah, it'll sterilize the planet instantly. So doesn't matter if you're underground. Doesn't matter if you can figure out a way to live in the center of the planet, in the melted core of our planet. You're gonna die.
Well, Randy, see, we don't know because we don't know what kind of technology will we possess then. We're talking 3 billion years, man. We don't know what kind of technology.
How far away is it? 8 billion years?
No, 3 billion. The galaxy's got 4.5 billion years left, I think, before it goes.
Hey, Google, when will our sun explode?
I think it's like 3.3 billion years.
That's a dramatic question, but the good news is our sun won't actually explode. It's too small to become a supernova. Instead, in about 5 billion years, it will run out of hydrogen fuel and start to expand into a red giant. After that, it will shrink and fade away to become a white dwarf star. Would you like to hear more about what will happen to Earth during the sun's transformation?
We know what's going to happen to Earth. Thank you very much.
Yeah, maybe we're gonna action pretty well.
We don't really need to know any more than that. Thank you, darling.
No, stop.
We know we're going to be a Rice Krispie.
Stopping living room.
I imagine it would be something like what the one dwarf describes their encounter with the dragon. A bright flash of light, searing hot pain, and poof, you're a pile of ash.
Yeah, because you know it's going to be adios effing amigos, buddy.
Relatively painless, I would think, if the sun went, and it's not going to go supernova. It's too tiny, he says. So that's a plus.
Yeah, I already knew that. A sun our size, it just doesn't have that kind of power.
But the release of energy when it does go and expand, maybe if that's enough to ignite Jupiter.
I'm thinking because it's going to be so much closer to Jupiter, the heat itself may be enough.
Yeah. Or maybe Jupiter's gravity will siphon off some of the energy, and it'll be enough.
I doubt there'll even be an asteroid belt by then anymore. We'll have probably used it all up.
All the good stuff anyway. Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying. It'll all be chopped up. It'll just be dust. Probably somewhere else, probably on Mars somewhere. No, James, we don't know. We're talking 3 billion years. Well, she said 5 billion, but I think it's going to be
5 billion years. Yeah.
Last I heard, it's going to be 3.5 billion, and it was going to last for 1.5 billion years, and then it was going to die and become a white dwarf.
I guess it really all depends on how much crap we do to it between now and then. That's really the answer.
Science? No, dude, I'm a geek. Astronomy, especially, I'm a serious geek. Well, I have my own telescopes. Yeah.
Oh, actually, I'm going to get a telescope that can look at the. It's a really cool one. You can look at the moon, and it should be able to get pictures of the lunar landing sites.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Well, they got the kind now that you can download the program to your phone, hook your phone up to it.
Yeah.
And they're not even that expensive. They used to be expensive, but they're not anymore. Well, you mean? Oh, what are you looking to see? Well, remember refractor size: 150 millimeter, 200 millimeter, 500 millimeter. Think about it. It all depends on what you're going to get to see it. Even with 150 millimeter, you can see a lot, but with like a 4, you're going to see much more detail. Yeah, you can actually see the aliens on Mars waving at you, going, "Stupid humans, we're here. Hi, we're the ones that cleaned off your rover."
That's funny.
Oh no! So I think his name was Jack Ross. He worked for NASA. He said somebody cleaned the rover. So the thing of it is, the rover was dying. It was had this caked on, I guess, from having mist in the air and stuff, and the red dust was caked to the solar panel, so it was dying. And for some reason, the next day, it was clean and shiny, like somebody took some Windex and went out there and, whoosh, 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 and cleaned it all up. And the rover was working great. Now the guy said he tried to drive it into a dust devil, but no, that was not what happened. There was no swirl marks or anything like that. So the guy Jack Ross, when he left NASA, he said that someone or something cleaned the because he said that wasn't the only thing that was clean. He said the lenses on the cameras had been clean from all the buildup and fog over the years that it's been there.
Oh, this is on the moon.
So,
well, that's nice. Weird because also what it was Voyager 1 and Voyager 2, one of them went offline for 8 years and then came back fully repaired and back on course. It's actually going off course. Anyway, on the screen is the telescope I want to get. It's nice color purple, but it has an adapter where you can put your cell phone on there. And I'm pretty sure, I haven't read, I think this one does it because it has like these really cool micrometer adjustments for the telescope. But it's like you said, you type in the coordinates of something on the moon and it'll go and aim the thing at it. I'm hoping anyway. So.
Yeah, they got, just be sure you read, because they got the ones that you can move it yourself.
Yeah, that one I can move myself. Yes, that too.
But they got the other one that you just type it in your phone, and your phone just moves it to whatever location, because it knows right where it's at, Jenny. I mean, it makes your life way easier if you're doing it that way. So anyway, no, we're running out of time, so we didn't really get into the Men in Black or the research, so we'll have to touch on it. But the Men in Black know a lot.
We talked about them a bit, yeah.
I think the Men in Black are probably, not all the Men in Black, but a lot of them are probably hybrids. Some sort of hybrid. I'm not even sure what kind of hybrid we're talking about. It's a lot of people say it's part of there's a rogue group of Greys. We've been knowing about them for about 20 years. And if you believe what everybody says about them, the Greys want them gone. They want them just gone. But they say they're the ones that run the Men in Black. And they run the Men in Black to help out with probably the industrial complex and the government and other things. More than likely so they can keep track of what technologies are being moved around on our planet. I don't know why there's a rogue group of Greys. Nobody ever said why they told the other Greys to F off. They don't like to talk about it, apparently. It reminds me of on Stargate Atlantis when they find the rogue group. No, not the Toka. When they find the what do they call themselves? The ones that look like the Greys. They find a rogue group.
The Asgard.
Yeah, they find a rogue group of Asgard in the other galaxy where SG-1 is. I mean, where that Stargate people are. They find them because they were blowing up gates.
Yeah.
They were blowing up Stargates. Yeah, no, there's a rogue group of Asgard. The other Asgards were dead. They'd killed themselves and gave all their technology to the Doomans. The Doomans, yes, the Doomans. Yes, that's us, the Doomans, yes. Mean like doom and humans, yeah. As far as researchers go, there's a handful that really know what's going on, really to the scary point. There are a couple of people inside the normal government that have a good idea about what's coming. The industrial complex, when it comes to that, has not an effing. I don't even think they care, to be honest with you. They're too busy with their toys. The Men in Black, though, also, there's something coming. Depends who you believe. If you believe the Holocaust, if you believe the contactees that are having the Holocaust stream, which is 1/3 of them, then there's something hairy, scary coming for you humans. Yes. But humans are okay, you humans are not. I don't know, cannon fodder. Well, maybe we're not moving forward fast enough as a species. I mean, in some places, we're going. Come on, let's be honest. The Middle East has made some big progress forward, but still, it's just a big sore pimple on the ass of the world. other parts are the same way.
Well, part of it's getting popped right now. So,
I mean, it comes to a point where we have to unite the planet. Aliens want to, they want to know that Heidi's okay, man.
I was thinking about what if this is part of that plan? Is that, I don't know if that's Trump's ultimate, plan for the planet. He only got a couple of years. Can you do it? I don't know. Maybe in a third term, but I do think it's a good step. I mean, I feel that in 1979, 80, when this happened, I was 13 or 14. I just started in high school in 1980. I was pissed, for one, and for two, I've been saying it since then. Nuke them. It just wiped that entire country off the planet in one fell swoop, and it should have been done then. I mean, either we should have surrounded that country the minute they took over our embassy, and before 444 days went by with those 66 hostages, or once they were returned, then we should have sacked them. It's the same problem that you call out in World War II, when we should have attacked Russia when they were at their weakest point and taken them out of the equation. It's 2020 hindsight. They should have actually done what they're doing to Iran now, but it's a Friday topic.
Yeah, well, we're going to talk about this on Friday because who shouldn't have, instead of giving them all that money, should have done something else. But what are you talking about, Wendy? I don't know what you're talking about. What show? I still don't know what you're talking about. The show that before this show, I'd have to go look and see. I don't remember.
Is it the Spirit Switchboard?
No, that's on Friday.
That's Friday. Yeah.
No, it's it's not ethereal. Is
it Donnie? One of the
No, it's not. Hold on, I'll find it. It's not ethereal, Jack. So it was Third Eye Awakening. It was that Evaluate? Yes, Third Eye Awakening. Mm-hmm. They were on before us. I think it was a replay, actually. Yeah. You mean reruns? No, I'm not a big fan of reruns. I bitch at Michelle about reruns all the time. I'm not a big fan. Well, because, we don't want our audience to think, just half their shows are reruns, because they're not. But when you start having a bunch together because people are sick or there's other events going on, then it causes problems. Yeah, well, it's part of life. Nah, the boss lady will take care of it. She's good at that kind of stuff. She's good at all kind of stuff. Yeah. What do you mean you don't like? I mean, who don't you like? What are you talking about? I don't understand. What do you know about politics, Mark? You really know about? I said, tell you what. We host on Friday night. Jay and I host News on the Flip Side on Friday night. If you really think you know your politics, come on by. But you better know them because you're going to get embarrassed if you don't. I'll let Jay pick on you. I'll take it easy on you first time out. I'm just telling you, because we will embarrass you if you don't know your politics. Not intentionally, but that's what'll happen. Well, because this Friday is going to be a lot of stuff. Of course, there's going to be a lot of war talk and other things. But there's going to be a lot of topic on the floor Friday night. UPNtalkradio.com. You can find us on YouTube or Rumble or Roku, any of that stuff. Just type us in. Well, I want you to be happy, man. Yeah, we're getting ready to go, so. No, we. Oh, you talking? No, I won't even mention his name on the show. But yeah, come by Friday night. We'll talk about that. Well, we're going to go through the first hour. Will probably be mostly news about the war and stuff like that, what's going on, and who's mad, who's not mad, what the pool numbers are, things like that. How's the economy doing? Why gas went up $1 a gallon? Stuff like that. Yeah. So come on by. We'll talk about that, and then we'll get into other stuff as we go along because there's some other news that came out We're going to talk about Uncle Pootie too. You know, we need to give him some love because he's an idiot.
Uncle Pootie.
Vladimir Putin, Jeffrey. That's what I'm talking about. I'm brave calling him. Look, he it's time. He's like, oh, and no, I can't. We're going to talk about something problem with missiles too. Y'all remind me about that on Friday. I want to bitch about that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's been the yeah. I'll have to remind you because we used a new weapon for the first time since World War II.
Oh yes, I heard we sunk something. Anyway, that was actually cool. I seen that video. Anyway, guys, we got a lot of stuff for Friday. We got to get out of here. We'll try to. Maybe we'll do a show on the different researchers who have contributed research to the field before I start getting my lazy butt going back to doing guests. Well, that's something I'd like to talk about. Yeah, well, there's some researchers like Dennis Balthaser and Jim Mars who have done some really, really good research. Stanton Friedman, myself, a few others.
Guys, we can't get on the show anymore. Damn it!
And yeah, because they're all dead. It's I don't know. Dennis Balthaser, I think, is still alive, but Stanton Friedman, unfortunately, has passed, and so has Jim Mars.
Jim Mars and Stanton are both
gone. They love doing this show. Stanton loved it. I did 50 interviews with Stanton. He loved the show. So did Dennis. And Jim and I were buds. We even talked politics together because we had similar interests and we had similar beliefs in what we were talking about. You'd be surprised. A lot of the bigger researchers that we had a lot in common. It was the ones who were in this for money is the ones I used to butt heads with. Yeah, the ones that just wrote books about bullshit, or the ones that would go find some history and write a book about the history of, that's do some real research. And then, it was so funny. And then we're going to go, when I was hosting Wake Up USA UFO Study, every major ufologist in the field I interviewed, and every one of them said abductions weren't real and were bullshit. Today, people like, what's his name? Richard Dolan, he talks about him all the time. Peola Harris, she wouldn't even talk to me for a year because I asked her about abductions on the show one night on Wake Up USA. And now she does a whole conference about it. Yeah.
But what you said.
They're hypocrites. Yeah, that's what they are. No, because I proved it to them over and over and over that, look, you can't get the truth by chasing lights in the sky. There's only two ways to get the truth, either from the aliens or from the contactees, because the government don't know squat. Yeah, I was going to say something else, but not on this show. But we got to go because Michelle's starting. She's got a good guest tonight. She said if Jay and I made her late, she was going to hurt us. I'm not sure,
Yes, and I'll have to arrest the audience for going into her time.
Jay might like that kind of stuff. Man, I'm not in that kind of stuff.
We do have some new torture devices at Q Division that need to be tested. So,
what do you mean, Mike? No, we gotta go. Come on, you give me some shit.
Yeah, we were digging into Michelle's time, and she's gonna
hold on. I'll tell you who she's got on. Dr. Christopher Macklin, Consciousness Awakening in the Planetary Shift. Yes, so that's what's on right now. On that note, we got to go. I want to thank everyone for tuning in to United Public Radio. I hope you enjoyed the show tonight with Jay and I on UFO Undercover. Yes, Jay's on with you're on with Jeffrey this Friday, right?
Yes, we have an excellent comic book show coming up.
Yeah, so Jay's going to be all hyped and out of his mind when we see him. This Church of Mavis comes on right before the News on the Flip Side, right after the Spirit.
That's right. We kick off the primetime Friday evening on the network.
Well, they do somewhere around 950,000 listeners. Yeah, they do good. Well, they had broke 1 million, but we're coming through the holidays and getting back in the summer and spring and shit. So things change. But on that note, we got to go. Thanks again for tuning in to United Public Radio and UFO Undercover. Had some fun. We'll see you out Friday night. Stay out of trouble. Enjoy your life, people. Everybody. Good. Nice. I was so stupid.